But actually now, Jake Paul has got to think about what he's doing next. If you're that good and you think you're clever, why don't you fight Usyk? Alexander Usyk, he'll fight you. Let's see how that works out for you. You get flattened. Game over.
And the number 14 cruiserweight in the world, according to the WBA. This is an absolute mockery. It's an absolute disgrace. It's a total piss take.
Able to fight voluntarily to defend their championship against Jake Paul. Which, if I'm being honest, that's kind of crazy, bro. Isn't that crazy? Right? You're telling me you fought somebody that's not a natural cruiserweight, right?
Are furious at the WBA's shocking decision to rank Jake Paul in the top 15 cruiserweights. Many see this as a slap in the face to hard-working fighters who've dedicated years to the sport. Jake Paul has not faced a single credible opponent, only retired fighters or unknown names that offered no real challenge. This move by the WBA has sparked calls for a boycott, with boxing insiders demanding fairness and integrity in the ranking system. They believe rewarding fame over genuine skill damages the sport's reputation and disrespects true contenders fighting for their place.
So I've just found out that Jake Paul, the YouTuber, influencer, who has been doing a bit of boxing against people who aren't boxers, aside from Tommy Fury, who is a complete novice boxer, and an old retired champion in Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who has been through rehab and all kinds of stuff, has been out of the ring for quite a while, an OAP Mike Tyson, who physically is in a terrible place, and two now inactive cruiserweights called Andre August and Ryan Borland, who I have absolutely no idea who they are. I've just found out that that's what qualifies you as the number 14 cruiserweight in the world, according to the WBA. This is an absolute mockery. It's an absolute disgrace. It's a total piss take. I've been in the middle of making another video about Hamza Shiraz and Edgar Berlanga, and I've had to just stop what I'm doing and make a reaction to this. And I'm just going to go in raw here because I'm absolutely furious. I'm absolutely furious. Like, this is the sort of shit that we have to deal with as boxing fans. Everybody in this sport, and I call it a sport because that's exactly what it is, tries to treat it like it's just a business, like it's just a way of lining their back pockets. You cannot tell me in any world that Jake Paul has done enough to be ranked as the number 14 cruiserweight in the entire world. And I want to be really clear from the off, this isn't actually an attack on Jake Paul's boxing ability, because that's not what this is about. It's about, what have you done to show me you're the 14th best cruiserweight in the world? Because for all I know, you might put him in there and he might do really bloody well, but that's not the point. You have to earn that position. How can you have earned that position? By fighting a bunch of influencers, athletes from other sports, and having lost to one of the only active boxers that you've actually faced in Tommy Fury, who very much is a part-time boxer at this point in his life. And then your most recent and highest profile win being against a guy who didn't throw a bloody punch for the first half of the fight.
Boxing fans are outraged after Happy Punch shared the news. Jake Paul is now officially ranked the number 14 cruiserweight in the world by the WBA and eligible to challenge Zordo Ramirez for the title. Many believe Jake doesn't deserve this ranking since he hasn't faced a serious credible opponent yet. His fights have mostly been against retired boxers or unknown fighters, leading to widespread criticism of the WBA's decision. The decision to place Jake Paul among the top 15 cruiserweights has left professional boxers and dedicated fans stunned. For years, genuine contenders have fought tooth and nail to earn their rankings through grueling bouts and relentless training. Now, these athletes are in an awkward position. They may have to voluntarily fight Jake Paul to protect their titles and reputations from the threat of a YouTuber-turned-boxer who has leapfrogged the traditional path of merit. The outrage is understandable as this move appears to undermine the integrity of the division.
I can now win a world title. Jake Paul, after beating Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., has now been moved to number 14 in the WBA official rankings, meaning he can be a voluntary defense for Zordo Gilberto Ramirez's world title. But this is now where we need to beg the question of what is wrong with these rankings, because there is no world where Jake Paul is the 14th best cruiserweight. What do we do? What's boxing got to do to save this? Is it go to a one belt division like the UFC have, or is it just for the divisions that we've got and the belts that we've got to actually just sort themselves out? Make sure you subscribe for the updates, we'll keep it coming, but this is mental.
Backlash intensified as many insiders accused the WBA of prioritizing profit over principle. Granting Jake Paul such a ranking seems less about his achievements in the ring and more about the financial windfall he brings. By doing this, the organization has risked its credibility in the eyes of seasoned fighters who worked their way up by facing true challenges. Many believe that the cruiserweight title scene has been tainted with business interests overshadowing sporting values. champions now see their hard-earned belts diminished in meaning.
After defeating Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., the WBA decided to give Jake Paul a ranking. According to them, he's the 14th best cruiserweight boxer in the world. I know they're trying to push him for a title shot and it's the show business and whatnot, but you're disrespecting all the cruiserweight boxers with this one. And to even be ranked, aren't you supposed to actually defeat someone who's ranked? Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. hasn't been ranked in years.
Due to this decision, Jake Paul's triumph against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. undoubtedly boosted his standing in boxing circles. What was once brushed off as a novelty act has now morphed into a genuine campaign to climb the ranks. Jake's win opened doors for him, putting him in a position where title holders can no longer look the other way. His ability to silence doubters and force the boxing establishment to acknowledge him shows how effectively he has flipped the script. Yet, many argue that this elevation came too easily considering the circumstances of his victories.
So now that Jake Paul won his fight against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., he's apparently ranked top 15 cruiserweights in the world. And apparently, I guess now, world champions are able to fight voluntarily to defend their championship against Jake Paul. Which, if I'm being honest, that's kind of crazy, bro. Isn't that crazy? Right? You're telling me you fought somebody that's not a natural cruiserweight, right? And now you're automatically ranked top 15 and you can fight a couple of world champions and it makes sense. Not that I think he beats any of them. I'm going to be completely honest. I can't see it, bro. If Jake ends up beating somebody, yo, shout out to him. He finessed his way to the fucking top and a world champion and really like cemented himself into the history books. But the way that he boxes, he's just very sluggish. It's kind of slow. You know, I think any cruiserweight world champion, even Badu Jack, will defeat him. And I actually don't even understand why he even wants to fight Anthony Joshua, besides the bag, obviously. But what do you guys think, though? This whole shit has gone crazy.
Critics of Jake's rise point out that his victory over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. was far from impressive. Julio, once a respected fighter, offered little in the way of resistance. Throughout the match, he resembled more of a stationary target than an active competitor. The lack of meaningful offense from Julio made Jake's task far easier, turning what should have been a true test into what many described as a glorified sparring session. Praising Jake for such a win feels hollow to fans who expect real battles inside the ring.
He did not throw barely any punches for the first half of the fight.
More than half. First 8 rounds, you might say.
Yeah, and a little life at the end, but too late when he knew the fight was winding down on time. I say this, that it was hard for me to gauge the performance of Jake Paul. It's essentially a sparring session. And I'm trying to see, is he continuing? Is he developing? Is he getting better? And off of this fight, it was hard to gauge when you're fighting a puncher bag. But then towards the end of the fight, I thought he was exposed. The stamina started to dip. The defense wasn't tight. There was some technical flaws. You could find them. You could hit him. In the end, he gets a decision. He gets another win. He keeps his show moving on. What'd you make of this fight? What'd you think of Jake Paul and his performance overall?
Making no excuses for Jake Paul. Give him credit for what he's done with his career, with his promotion, with his business, with his dream. Give him credit. Give the guy credit. God almighty, he takes risks.
Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.'s reputation for underperformance was no secret. Even during the peak of his career, he often failed to meet expectations, frustrating fans and analysts alike. Add to that his personal struggles, including time spent in rehab, and it becomes clear that he was far from his best when he faced Jake Paul. Many believe Jake's camp selected Julio for this reason, knowing that a win against a faded name would fast-track him into the rankings. This strategic matchmaking has fueled claims that Jake is gaming the system.
Chavez Jr., one guy performed, one guy did what he was supposed to do, brought the fight in, and one guy just didn't. And if I'm talking about Jake Paul and a former world champion, you'd think that what I'm about to say favors the former world champion. And then you realize I'm talking about Chavez Jr., and then you say, no, well, okay, we have to flip those because Chavez Jr. is known for disappointing on the biggest stage, and that's what happened again here. I cannot tell you how disappointed I am in watching Chavez Jr. over the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds throw a total of 36 punches. Now, I didn't say land. That's not what I said. I said throw. Chavez Jr. threw 36 punches over 5 rounds. And out of the 36 he threw, he landed 8. 8 punches through 5 rounds. 15 through 6. 20 through 7. He landed 20 punches through 7 rounds.
Rayo Vallenula's praise for Jake Paul's performance provided some validation within the boxing community. As a fighter who understands the demands of the sport, Rayo's acknowledgement suggested that Jake's efforts shouldn't be entirely dismissed. His comments indicated that Jake's improvement in the ring has been noticed by fellow athletes. However, supporters of the sport still question whether a single win over an underwhelming opponent should justify a top 15 ranking or whether Rio's words reflected sportsmanship rather than genuine endorsement of Jake's place in the division.
I missed you. I want to get your reaction to the fight.
Oh, great fight. Julio's back after all he's been through. So, I tip my hat off to him. It's not easy, especially through, when life throws at you sometimes. But, it was a good fight.
What'd you make of how Jake Paul looked and fought?
He doing his thing. Jake Paul's looking good. Shout out to him. Yeah.
Do you think he's ready to fight maybe a top 15, top 20?
Sure, yeah.
So I guess where does Junior go from here in your opinion?
It's up to him. He can retire if he want, or he can have another, fight like this. Fight a YouTuber or something.
Yeah. In terms of you, Rayo, when can we see you back in the ring?
I'll be back in the fall, hopefully.
In the fall?
Yeah.
Do you have an opponent in mind?
Nothing set in stone.
All right. Hey, just want to get your thoughts. The rematch between Lamont and Roach, how do you see it? Tank and Roach.
That's a good fight. 50-50 fight, like the first fight. I'm going to go, I don't know, whoever.
Finally, Canelo and Crawford. Break it down.
That's a good fight, man. That's a good fight. It's hard to count Crawford out, man, because he's just a dog. And if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Crawford or Benavidez, So, Crawford, I don't know. 50-50.
50-50. All right, Rayo, thank you.
Thank you.
Jake Paul's ambitions show no sign of slowing down. His public call out of Canelo Alvarez for a cruiserweight world title clash reveals both his confidence and his understanding of boxing's business side. Jake seems convinced that even a fighter of Canelo's stature might entertain the idea, attracted by the massive payday such a spectacle would guarantee. While some admire Jake's boldness, others view this as further evidence that his career is more about generating headlines than chasing meaningful sporting challenges.
Canelo, this moment will prove that I'm the face of boxing, the largest attraction. And me versus Canelo at 200 pounds for the Cruiserweight Championship of the world. It's even bigger than me versus Tyson, and it makes so much sense. Canelo's on his way out. He's going to want a payday, and I want to show the world that all the shit I've been talking about beating Canelo is actually true, and I'll have the biggest upset in the sport of boxing. Show that I have more followers than him, etc. This is going to be the most watched fight of the century, so I'm going to be the new money man.
Skepticism surrounds not only Jake's opponents, but also the manner in which these fights have unfolded. Observers claim that the matches seem orchestrated to secure Jake's victory, with opponents more interested in collecting a check than putting up a serious fight. This perception undermines Jake's legitimacy and leaves fans questioning the authenticity of his rise. When a boxer's success appears linked to spectacle rather than sporting merit, it erodes trust in the entire process of ranking and recognition.
As you are watching this video, Jake Paul and Julio Cesar Chavez are currently right now in the 7th round of their fight. But when you go to Google and Google the fight, it gives an accurate breakdown of all their past fights. And then it comes to the current fight, and it says that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. loses a unanimous decision to Jake Paul in 2025. The fight has not even played out yet. Yet they're saying that this is the end results as they are fighting right now, currently as it stands. This leans testament to the fact that people state that Jake Paul has his fights fixed. What's your thoughts on this? This is nasty work. Unbelievable. This is Google. Google it yourself. Peace.
Jake Paul's ability to generate massive paydays has transformed him into a magnet for fighters chasing financial rewards. Many boxers, regardless of rank or reputation, see a bout with Jake as an opportunity to secure life-changing money. This dynamic shifts the focus from competition to commerce, where fighters seem willing to meet whatever conditions Jake sets to cash in. Such a trend risks turning boxing into little more than a business transaction, sidelining the values of honor and competition that once defined the sport.
I just saw KSI saying that he's going to fight Jake Paul in 6 months. What the fuck is this? Another celebrity bullshit scam? Nah, none of that fucking bullshit. Jake Paul, I will fight you. I'm a fucking nobody. I'm no washed up legend, no fucking celebrity. I'm nothing. I'm nobody. But I will fight you. Give me 6 months. I will be the one to step in that ring with you. And I'll fight you for real. All smoke, all heart, all grit. That's what it really takes. That's what boxing fans fucking deserve. Yo, everybody, if you're watching this, add Jake Paul, tag him, do whatever it takes. Let's make this happen. It won't be KSI, another fucking celebrity, another fucking bullshit, fucking wasted boxing scam. It will be me, someone with no background, no experience, no nothing. I come from nothing, and I'll fight him. I'll give everybody the fight they deserve. We wanted to see Iron Mike knock him down on his ass. You know what? I'm here to finish the job. Let's make this fucking happen.
The anger among fans following Jake Paul's ranking is both widespread and intense. For many, seeing Jake elevated to cruiserweight status after a win over an opponent who offered so little has cheapened the sport. Loyal supporters of boxing feel betrayed as years of hard work by legitimate contenders are seemingly brushed aside in favor of celebrity and spectacle.
So after Jake Paul's win against Chavez Jr., he's officially ranked number 9 in America for the cruiserweight division and number 70 in the world, which this is ridiculous. Chavez Jr. was retired. How can beating him mean that you're top 10 in the cruiserweight division when there's actual fighters and prospects that's been working their way up? This is crazy. He's fought at heavyweight. He fought Astric at whatever weight, but he's only fought 2 real boxers, Tommy Fury and now Chavez Jr. And an 80-year-old Mike Tyson. There's no way he should be ranked in the top 10. They're already calling for a fight with him and Zordo Ramirez, which is ridiculous. I feel Jake Paul loses to any young prospect in boxing right now. Any one of them takes him out. Seems like the sanctioning bodies are just trying to cash out real quick before this little era is over. It's bringing a lot of, popularity and notoriety to boxing. A lot of new casual fans are coming to the sport, so I guess it's good putting boxing back on the big stage. But this is cancerous for the sport itself. Aside from all the glamour and viewership, this is cancerous to the sport. We see how they just sell out for the money.
Boxing purists were particularly disturbed by Julio's performance during the final rounds of his fight with Jake Paul. Instead of mounting a meaningful challenge, Julio's late flurry of punches felt half-hearted, as if he was simply trying to avoid further embarrassment. Jake Paul's boxing journey has been dogged by accusations of scripting and prearranged outcomes. His choice of opponents, typically older, out-of-prime fighters, has led to wins that feel hollow to many. The trend continued with his fight against Julio, and the pattern has cast a long shadow over Jake's reputation as a serious contender.
Welcome back to The Pain Game. Today we're going to talk Darren Till versus Tommy Fury / John Fury, of course. But first, some more important and quite serious news in the combat sports world. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, it's come out now. It was rigged. I can't believe it. You have to question the validity of boxing these days when you can't trust 2 professionals to get in the ring and do their best against each other. And instead you find out Mike Tyson pulling his punches, not trying to hurt Jake Paul. Absolute disgrace. I thought better of them. I really did. I thought that Mike Tyson, especially Iron Mike, he was just going to go in there and knock Jake clean out. But here he is, not trying.
Carl Frocke's comments reflect what many boxing legends feel about Jake Paul's sudden rise. The former champion didn't mince words, suggesting that if Jake truly believes in his ability, he should step into the ring with someone like Alexander Usyk. Carl Froch went further by ridiculing Jake Paul as a clown fighter, echoing sentiments shared by many in the boxing world. He questioned the narrative that Jake possesses knockout power, arguing that such claims are unfounded given the quality of his opponents. Frocke's dismissal highlights the growing divide between those who see Jake as a marketing marvel and those who believe his boxing credentials remain unproven. Until Jake faces a real threat in the ring, this skepticism is unlikely to fade.
It's like he's hitting him with a feather duster, just flicking it in his face. It does make you question them wins he's had, where he's hit him with one shot and they fell on the floor like they've been tasered. Can you imagine that being my dream fight and my biggest payday? Fighting a clown. Jake Paul don't know what to do with himself when he's under pressure. You know, he's on his back foot looking at the floor, probably closing his eyes. It's fair to say he's absolutely useless, isn't he, Jake Paul? He can't fight, can he? I reckon looking at that, how many rounds do you think I need to beat Jake Paul? Seriously, 2 rounds or a round? 1 round? Is that the end of Jake Paul now or what? He's absolutely useless.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next.